he runs a bicycle shop there, and he was complaining that almost 2 acres of his land were grabbed by this TMC leader Shiva Prasad Hajra, and he was not paid a single rupee. They didn't want to come on record because they feared that once these leaders are out, they might face atrocities again. Once the situation dies down, they will not get the support from the press or the police. What we have found in Sandeshkhali, that it was a very spontaneous protest by the villagers. They were not provoked by any political party. If you go to the history, if you see the history of the West Bengal, the spontaneous protests are always something that have shaken the state government. The ruling party is playing safe when it comes to the Sheikh Shahjahan, and he has already applied for anticipatory bail in the court.
Hello and welcome to the Indian Express. Days after, villagers of Sandeshkhali took to the streets to demand arrest of Shahjahan Sheikh, Trinamool leader. Section 144 has been imposed in large parts of the village. Our reporter, Santanu, has been visiting Sandeshkhali and has just come back from Sandeshkhali today. And he will tell us what exactly is happening in Sandeshkhali now.
Yeah, since Wednesday, a large number of women villagers in Sandeshkhali have took to the streets to demand the arrest of two Trinamool leaders, which are Uttam Sardar and another is Shiva Prasad Hajra. These two are close aid of absconding TMC leader Sheikh Shahjahan, who is right now is fleeing because after the attack of the ED officials on January 5, these women had hit the streets. They protested outside the Sandeshkhali police station, demanding immediate arrest of these two leaders because they allege that these are the two leaders are responsible for several corrupt practices in the Sandeshkhali area. Likely, they grabbed land from the local villagers. They also forced some men to work on their fields and did not pay them. And also they had asked all the women villagers who are member of the Trinamool or who are not member of the Trinamool to attend party meetings at any time of the day, maybe at 12 midnight. So these are some of the allegations that the women were raising against these Trinamool leaders. And when we visited the area, then the police had already imposed section 144 of the CRPC. Therefore, no congregation was seen. A large number of protests had died down. Still, we could manage to interview few of the women villagers over there. Some of them were the Trinamool Congress booth presidents, and on condition of anonymity, they spoke up against these Trinamool leaders and their kind of misdeeds. So one of the Trinamool Congress booth president told us that they are terrorized by these Trinamool leaders, namely the Shiva Prasad Hajra and also the Uttam Sardar. We asked them what are the kind of steps that they had taken which resulted in this kind of a spontaneous protest, which they are calling that it was a very spontaneous protest by the women of the villagers. So they said that they had issued a diktat that women members or women in the villages will have to attend the party meetings at any time of the day. Some of the women were asked to attend the meetings at midnight, and they were kept in the meetings at 2 a.m., 3 a.m. So the women were not happy with this kind of diktat over the years, and they had also raised the issue with the police as well. But they said that the police did not take any kind of action, and they were advised that they can go and resolve this issue at the Jila Parishad level. So these are some kind of the kind of atrocities that were being committed in Sandeshkhali area. But one thing you have to note that why all of a sudden the women are coming out against these two leaders, because since the Shahjahan Sheikh went underground, these women are kind of finding a courage to speak up against these teams leaders and against their misdeeds. So these are the reason that they have come out to the streets and saying it's enough is enough now. We want justice now. That's what they are saying.
Shantanu, what was the atmosphere like in the village when you visited it?
Yeah, when we visited the Sandeshkhali, first of all, you have to understand the kind of region it is. Sandeshkhali, a large part of it is also the land, and there are some other parts which are like an island because it's near Sundarbans. So there are several rivers that are going around these areas, and there are some islands which are also falling in Sandeshkhali. The Sandeshkhali police station actually is located on an island, and there are some other islands which is like Jelia Khali that also falls under the same region. So when we went to the Sandeshkhali, so the police had put up a road blockade, and not allowing anyone to move inside other than the press and the policemen. We have seen that the BJP also tried to send a delegation there to talk to the villagers, who had come up with these allegations that they were terrorized and all. The BJP didn't allow them to visit the area as Section 144 of the CRPC was imposed. And later, the press was allowed to visit that area. So what we had to do that we had to take a boat ride to the island, and that's how everybody there travels, even the policemen and others. So when we went to the island, and it was almost deserted because Section 144 was imposed. Markets were closed, shops were closed. There were no major gathering was not seen. A huge number of the policemen were deployed outside the Sandeshkhali police stations. Personnel like rapid action force personnel were also there, and the situation was tensed because till yesterday, till Friday night, there were huge protests by the villagers. They had swarmed the streets of the Sandeshkhali, and they were also holding sticks and also sharp weapons, were protesting against the atrocities. So when we visited the island, these kind of scenes were not seen. When we entered inside the villages and we tried to talk to some of the villagers, they shared their harrowing experience there. They shared the kind of treatment they were meted out by this the Trinamool Congress leaders. So some of them had tears in their eyes, some of them were crying, and some of them were showing the lands. Look, these are the lands that were taken by these TMC leaders, and no money was given. And we had a interaction with one of the main there. He runs a bicycle shop there, and he was complaining that almost 2 acres of his land were grabbed by this TMC leader Shiva Prasad Hajra, and he was not paid a single rupee. So these are the kind of complaints that we got to hear from them, and they didn't want to come on record because they feared that once these leaders are out, they might face atrocities again. Once the situation dies down, they will not get the support from the press or the police. So these are the kind of, the situation was very tense there. However, as this Section 144 has been imposed, so there are no protests that is taking place in Sandeshkhali.
Also, why is this being seen as a important protest right before the 2024 Lok Sabha elections? What consequences will it have? Or and what is BJP seeing this as an opportunity to make inroads in?
Right. So the one thing you have to understand that in the nature of the protest, what we have found in Sandeshkhali, that it was a very spontaneous protest by the villagers. They were not provoked by any political parties, as say that the CPM or the Congress or the BJP, which are the opposition parties in West Bengal, provoked these villagers and stage a protest against them. This was mostly a spontaneous protest by the women, and they have been under this constant threat and pressure by the TMC leaders, and somehow managed to get the courage to come out and speak. And that's why it's very significant, because what we have seen, if you go to the history, if you see the history of the West Bengal, the spontaneous protests are always something that have shaken the state government or the ruling party here. If you go back to although there were some political connotations were there, the Shingur movement or the Nandigram movement or other movements were there, but the basic point was that the people were not happy with what was happening in the area. So this is a similar kind of protest by the villagers, because they were not given any kind of support by any opposition parties. That's what we have seen. Kind of, is there a party flags or some political leaders are present behind these women? No, these are all were our villagers over there. If you also see that there was a similar kind of protest that were taking place few years ago in Bhangar, when the villagers were protesting against the setting up of power distribution line. So that was also kind of a spontaneous protest, which has also created a big news in West Bengal. If you remember, in 2018 panchayat polls, some of the villagers wanted to contest the elections, and they were not allowed to file nomination papers, and they had moved the code which had allowed them to file nomination through WhatsApp. That was a very big thing that had happened, that one candidate can file these nomination papers through WhatsApp. So Bhangar is also in the same district. It's like South Chobbish Pargana district where this protest is taking place. And you have to take one more thing into account, that the South Chobbish Pargana district is actually a TMC stronghold. It's TMC stronghold because TMC had won all the assembly seats in that district except one, which is the Bhangar, because that is the Indian Secular Front. Naushad Siddiqui is the MLA, and that was the only opposition MLA other than the BJP who had won a seat in 2021 assembly elections. So, for the opposition parties, seeing this kind of protest taking place in a TMC stronghold gives them an opportunity to put the pressure on the Trinamool Congress, because they are on the back foot. If you remember that since the attack on ED officials on January 5th, the heavyweight TMC leader or the party strongman there is absconding. The ED had issued a lookout circular against him, they fearing that he might escape the country, he might go to Bangladesh or elsewhere. So this is the kind of scenario in South Chobbish Pargana where the TMC is in back foot. Now the people of the villages who had supported the TMC over the years are now raising their voice against the TMC strongmen or the close aides of Sheikh Shahjahan. Now they are seeing that this is the right opportunity, that the government is under pressure. So if we can speak up, then some steps can be taken, and what we have seen that steps indeed have been taken.
What are the steps that the Trinamool government has taken to curb these protests and placate the villagers?
Yes, first what they did, they imposed the section 144 so that such protests do not take place anymore. Then what they did, that they suspended their close aide of Sheikh Shahjahan, who is Uttam Sardar. He was suspended from the party for 6 years. On the same day, that's like on Saturday night, he was arrested by police. So this was the first step that was taken, that against whom the women villagers had made a complaint, the person has been arrested, and another person, Shiva Prasad Hajra, is still absconding. Now, as a part of the second step, the government has also arrested a BJP leader, local BJP leader, Vikas Singh, for sending provocative messages to the WhatsApps to instigate the violence there. And yesterday we also seen that former Sandeshkhali CPM MLA, whose name is Nirapada Sardar, was arrested from Kolkata's Bazdoni area over the similar charges. So the government is taking steps to ensure that the peace remains in the area. So these are the kind of steps that have been taken. First thing was to stop the protest there, and second was to make some arrests over there. And now what we have seen that these kind of steps are coming at a time when the governor C.V. Ananda Bose today reached to Sandeshkhali and spoke with the villagers, and the opposition BJP delegation was stopped at near Science City in Kolkata from visiting the area, citing prohibitory orders of under Section 144. So the government at one hand is making arrests, and the other hand also stopping the opposition from going there and creating further troubles there. So these are the kind of steps that have been taken, and now latest that Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee has spoken, broke her silence over the issue and said that actions have already been taken, arrests have been made, and those responsible for the violence will be arrested. And she has said that the state government has also sent a team of the Women's Commission there to speak with the residents who had these complaints against the TMC leaders.
Shahjahan Sheikh, the absconding Trinamool leader, why has he not been arrested yet, and what is his legacy in that area?
Yeah, because if you visit the area, the first thing you would notice that there's a local market named after Sheikh Shahjahan. So you can see from that, how influential and powerful he is in that area, and he is very important for the party also, because he can mobilize support for the Trinamool Congress, and that's what he has been doing ever since the TMC came to power. Because previously he was associated with the CPIM, and then he shifted his allegiance to the ruling party, ruling Trinamool Congress. So therefore, he is a very influential person over there. There's no doubt about that. And now he has been absconding. The ruling party leaders did not explicitly said anything against Sheikh Shahjahan so far, because yesterday, the day before yesterday, the Trinamool Congress leader Partho Bhaumik, who announced the suspension of the Gautam Sardar, said that there isn't any massive allegation against Sheikh Shahjahan, so do not ask me those kind of questions. So I don't want to answer to this kind of questions. So therefore, the government is, or the ruling party is playing safe when it comes to the Sheikh Shahjahan, and he has already applied for anticipatory bail in the court, and he has also skipped summons by the ED. Today he was also summoned by the ED, and so far he hasn't turned up for questioning. So therefore, there is no clarity whether any kind of action will be taken against him or not. However, what we have come to know from the sources, that the ED might take some legal course of action against him unless he is arrested.